this is Killer Kyle to Wheels of Fury. Matt here, and this is Killer Kyle. Welcome to the bonus episode of Wheels of Fury. We just talked about SummerSlam 1991. We're going to skip ahead now to SummerSlam 1994. And this time I was just starting to turn from a hardcore wrestling fan, if you will, to just an occasional wrestling fan.
Right.
Because I didn't really know too much about 95 to 97. Although there are some bits and pieces I did see. Like I remember Shotgun Saturday Night and all that, so... Yeah, it was weird. Anyways, this was an okay SummerSlam.
Okay.
I guess. I don't know.
I guess.
Well, did you see it?
I might remember it.
Yeah.
I'm sure I seen it originally, but...
I mean, it was a good show, nonetheless.
Yeah.
You know, I just think that the concept at the time was pretty cool, but it was, I don't know, it's on the border of lame, and it wasn't that bad.
that fine line of lame and... okay.
Yeah, like, I mean, it was what it was. You had a really good match, followed by kind of a bizarre match, which I kind of understand the concept, but, like, nowadays, when I look at it, it's kind of like, well, yeah, but when did you have... Well, for example, I guess Kane versus Kane, but that was only one match.
Yeah.
Well, I guess this... Well, I shoot myself in the foot all the time, but I don't care. Yeah.
Pretty much.
Alright, enough of me rambling. Let's talk about the first match. We have the Head Shrinkers taking on Bam Bam Bigelow and IRS of the $1 Million Corporation.
Yes.
And I think, yeah, they must have been. Yeah, Head Shrinkers was a good team.
Yeah, you had Fatu, who was later be Rikishi,
Yep,
and Samu, I believe.
yes.
Who, of course, was one half of the Samoan SWAT team.
Yep. I would like, no, I think that's Alpha. Alpha's, I don't know, Roman Reigns is Sika. I think Sika is.
Sika is Roman Reigns' dad. Alpha is his uncle.
The Usos are Rikishi Fatu's kids.
Yes.
But I remember when they debuted, and Alpha scared the shit out of me.
The crazy eyes.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
The crazy eyes, the big hair. Fuck.
Yeah. And, like, when you have the name Wild Samoans, you gotta live up to that hype, if you will, or that mantra, the name, Wild.
Pretty much.
It was the hair that stood out and was really big, and then the big eyes, and
Yeah.
acting wild, if you will.
Yeah, I think that these guys were a great tag team. They came in as heels with Alpha, and then Eventually, they either turned on him or I'm not sure what happened.
Yeah.
Captain Lou Albano came in, and now they're faces, which I don't remember them ever being faces, but
Yeah.
this was a pretty good match. Obviously, the power of Bam Bam Bigelow, and then of course the aforementioned Arn Shyster.
Yes.
The Head Shrinkers ended up winning this match,
Right.
so is kind of confusing. You have Baldacano versus Alundra Blaze,
Yeah, for the.
Women's Championship.
Uh-huh.
Alundra Blaze being the longest women's champion at the time.
Mm-hmm.
Honestly, don't know anybody else prior to that. So, yeah, she wrestled all over the place. AWA, Japan, WCW, and then coming to WWE as Alundra Blaze.
Yes.
She was Medusa, then going there, and then ended up leaving with the infamous women's title in the trash can
Yeah.
in WCW. But this match was good.
Yeah.
You know, the Japanese versus the American.
Mm.
Now, Alundra Blaze picked up the win,
Right.
but I think Baldacano was pretty underrated for, in my opinion, in America at least, underrated as a women's wrestler.
Yeah, I mean, Alundra Blaze is well known around the world, I'm sure. Like I said, AWA, Japan, WWE, WCW, Alundra Blaze, Medusa Michelli.
Yep.
There was that Trailblazer documentary thing on the WWE Network about her, and after she left WWE and just left wrestling in general, she got into monster trucks,
Mm-hmm.
became a monster truck driver, and the first female monster truck driver.
Right.
And yeah, Alondra's career is very storied. Bull Nancano is one of those women that you hear of periodically from time to time, but
Yeah.
don't really know a lot about her career. I'm sure she probably had a very good career in Japan as a wrestler. I'm sure that's probably where she started, was wrestling in Japan. But, like, do you know of her as far as wrestling in America, as far as WWE is concerned?
Yeah.
Outside of that, don't really know a whole lot.
No, and I think there's a lot of wrestlers back then, female wrestlers, that, like, when I was watching it, I never paid attention, and it's not because of a sexist thing, I just never really gave a shit about the female wrestling.
Yeah.
You know, they have Alundra Blaze, Luna Vachon, Shireen Martel,
Uh-huh.
El Nakano, Bertha Faye. There's somebody else that I'm probably gonna kick my ass and that took on Alundra Blaze at WrestleMania
Yeah.
that year. So yeah, I mean this was a good match, and like you already know that. You have this match for the Intercontinental Championship, the, I guess, clique, if you will,
Yeah.
of Kevin Nash and Razor Ramon and Diesel, Scott Hall.
Kevin Nash and Scott Hall, Razor Ramon and Diesel. Yeah. These two guys had very good matches against each other.
Yeah.
Very, very physical, very aggressive, very hard-hitting style. And, you know, Razor being the arrogant Latino, if you will. And of course, Big Diesel, not really the most technical wrestler, but definitely had a style that was very unique, but yeah, matches against each other they had against each other were very, very good. Even though they were part of the clique, they essentially were able to put that aside when it came to matches against each other, whether it be Diesel and Razor, Diesel and Shawn, Shawn and Razor, Razor and the 1-2-3 Kid, Diesel and the 1-2-3 Kid, the 1-2-3 Kid and Shawn Michaels, and then you throw Triple H in there, and those matches as well. It seemed to be one of those things. Behind the scenes, they were friends, and they hung out a lot together, and all this other stuff. When it came time to get in the ring and wrestle each other, they very easily could do it.
Right.
They were able to more or less put friendship aside, go in the ring, handle business, and then afterwards go to the bar and have a beer with each other or whatever.
Now, I just embarrassed myself. Forget about that. Anyways, yeah, so Razor Ramon had a football player, I can't remember his name now, anyways, in his corner, you had both Shawn and Diesel beat the shit out of Scott in the outside.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, Razor got the upper hand and retained the Intercontinental title.
Right.
So, yeah, there it is. You have this match. You've got Lex Luger versus Tatanka.
Uh-huh.
And at the time, Tatanka was a part of the $1 Million Corporation.
Right.
And let me just say, Tatanka as a heel was the shits.
Yeah, Tatanka. Like, everybody remembers Tatanka's run when he was solo. Very, very good. Had that 2-year undefeated streak or year and a half, whatever the hell it was.
Yeah.
Before he eventually lost, but everybody loved him. Everybody was behind him. He was very, very popular. But then, when he became heel and was a member of the $1 Million Corporation, they didn't do much with him.
No. Yeah, and like I said, he didn't do a good job as the heel wrestler, and it sucks. It really sucks because it was, to me, a wasted potential. And I understand that there are certain wrestlers that can be a heel as opposed to being a face.
Yeah.
But I just didn't think it worked for Tatanka.
No.
But I mean, this match was all right. I believe it was actually, I believe Tatanka ended up getting the win.
Yeah, okay, yeah.
So. You have this match, you've got Mabel of Men on a Mission taking on Double J, Jeff Jarrett.
Aha.
This match was interesting. I mean, Nelson Frazier is one of those guys that, he was the tag team champion with Mo. He was a tag team champion with one of the Ministry.
Right.
He was the WECW champion.
Yeah.
He might have been another champion at some point, and then, of course, in other federations, but
yeah,
it is another classic case of a big man that, instead of thinking about his health, just, finished off his career as, this massive big guy.
Yeah.
It was just kind of hard to watch at times because it's like, how do you let yourself go like that?
Yeah, I know.
But I'm one to talk. So, this was a pretty good match. I think that Jeff Jarrett, as the heel, tried to cheat, of course. He tried his best to take out Mabel. Mabel, definitely the hard hitter that he was. Jeff ended up winning, though.
Right.
So, It was an okay match for what it was. Co-main event, you've got the WWF Championship in a steel cage, Bret Hart versus Owen Hart.
Brother against brother. And you know, the previous video we did, check it out, we hyped up quite a bit about Bret and Mr. Perfect, how good they were in the ring against each other, and matches they had against each other were great, and all this other stuff. Bret and Owen was pretty much the same thing.
Oh yeah.
They were very good, and like they had, it seemed as if because they were family, they had that bond, that chemistry.
And I think that's what did it too. I mean, yeah, they must have had many fights and wrestling matches down in the dungeon.
Oh, I'm sure a lot of disputes were probably settled in the dungeon.
Oh yeah, for sure. And there's footage of that somewhere.
Yeah.
And it's like, these two guys were, you know, great wrestlers because they were in the Hart family, but also Owen Hart was just one of those people that I don't think anybody could say a bad word about.
No.
And just
Everybody
that
loved
fun-looking
Owen.
guy. Yeah.
Yeah. There's many a story about ribs Owen would pull on people. And practical jokes. And
Yeah.
just the kind of character he was, that he would do his best to make other people laugh.
Yeah.
And, you know, when you're on the road 360 days of the year, 365 days of the year, you're away from your family, you're away from home, you're constantly traveling, and, you know, gathering around the car, and renting hotels, and trying to find something to eat and not, you know, it can wear on you.
Yeah.
So having a guy like Owen that is doing crazy, outlandish stuff to get you to laugh
Yeah.
really helped you kind of put your mind, take your mind off your troubles, and, you know, focus on, you know, the task at hand. Especially when you're like in Europe, let's say, and you got a 12-day tour. You know, you're doing Germany and Kuwait and probably Italy and so on and so forth, over a 12-day span. It can be mentally, physically, and probably emotionally taxing.
Yeah.
So just having that person around you that you can go to and talk to, and, you know, they'll make you laugh, be a really good thing.
Yeah. It's definitely a fucking shame. It just really is, you know. And this match was awesome. Like, it's just, I know they were having that hell of a time.
Yeah.
You know, you had them try to escape the cage. You had Owen Hart climb the cage and eventually did a botch onto the mat.
Yeah.
You know, you had a lot of good shit in this match. You had fucking Bret Hart do the same thing.
Yeah.
Now, during this time, you had Jim the Anvil Neidhart in the crowd, along with the British Bulldog, who was on Bret's side,
Yeah.
watching the match. And so, you know, you had Owen and Bret, they were on the outside trying to climb down, and eventually Bret fell onto the floor and won the match, which prompted Anvil to get out of his seat, clothesline Davy Boy, and then all four guys brawled into the ring.
Yeah.
So, I mean, yeah, it wasn't without, yeah, Bret won the match, but it was basically Owen and Anvil that ended up hauling ass to the back.
Yeah.
You know, so I mean, it was a really good match. I really think that these two guys, as brothers, have good chemistry, as I'm sure any other brothers would.
Yeah.
You know, and there's just one thing that really pisses me off, and to this day, and I know I probably talked about it, but the fact of the matter is, a man like Owen Hart, somebody who was one of the best wrestlers in the 90s, and unfortunately got his life cut short in that time, Intercontinental Champion, European Champion, Tag Team Champion. Why the fuck could he have not have been WWE Champion? WWF Champion. I don't fucking care. You know, you have a match with Bret Hart and Owen Hart in the cage. And, you know, Owen Hart could have won. Owen Hart could have won. He could have become WWF champion, and they could have had a match at Survivor Series instead of Bret Hart and Bob Backlund. But nope, we have to have Bret Hart win and retain the title. And yeah, Bret Hart and Bob Backlund had a good match at Survivor Series. That wouldn't have killed Vince McMahon or Jack Tunney to have Owen Hart as the WWF champion at least once in his career, because that man deserved it. Right then and there, that man deserved it. But that's just the fucking shits. Because yes, I'm a fan of Bret Hart. I've always have been. Maybe not so much nowadays, I don't know. But Owen Hart deserved the WWF Championship. And yes, this would have been the perfect opportunity for him to win. And I know that he had a match where he won the belt for at least 5 seconds or whatever. There was a picture of it. It don't matter. It was in a house show. But this match, Owen could have had a fucking WWF title and then have a match with Bret in the later part of the year, and so Bret can retain the title, get it back, whatever, and whatever. Can't bring that back, unfortunately, and it's a damn shame.
Yeah. What happened. It's unfortunate, it's sad, and I mean, yeah, you can harp on the fact that, oh yeah, Owen should have been WWE champion, and, you know, throughout his career, at some point, if that accident didn't happen, I'm sure he probably could have ended up WWE champion. The fact remains, he's one of the best to ever do it. He's always going to be one of the best to ever do it. There's no denying that. There's no arguing that. And his legacy will live forever, no matter what.
And this is coming from a Bret Hart fan. Last match, and of course it was made after Undertaker, Mark Calloway lost to Yokozuna at the Royal Rumble.
Yeah.
And there was a lot of vignettes. Actually, I thought it was pretty cool. They interviewed a bunch of people. I don't know if they were actors or they were just regular people.
Right.
About the whereabouts of the Undertaker. You had Leslie Nielsen of Naked Gun with, I can't remember the actor's name.
Yeah.
And, you know, while that happened, I'm not sure who the fake Undertaker was, but he came out with Ted DiBiase,
Yeah.
who was the original person who brought in Mark Calloway in 90.
Yeah.
And so he had the money, whereas Paul Bearer came out in, I believe, Heartbreak Hotel and brought out the real Undertaker with urine.
Yeah.
So basically, the match was set Undertaker versus Undertaker SummerSlam.
Yeah. And I'm sure to be able to pull this off, they would have needed somebody that was identical in height to The Undertaker, identical build to The Undertaker, same long, dark hair, and the outfit, and all this other stuff. You know, different colored clothes, but, you know.
Yeah, it was kind of interesting because I believe it was Mark Calloway who ended up, well, he won the match, obviously, but
Yeah.
I think he had the purple gloves and boots, whereas the other one had the gray,
Yeah, the gray.
which the Undertaker usually had.
Yeah.
So it kind of is neat to see that part of it. But I mean, this match, you know, it was basically what you thought it would be. You had them, you know, punching each other. You had them high flying clotheslines, and I believe both of them tombstoned each other.
I think so.
So, yeah, I mean, it wasn't the greatest, obviously, but it was an interesting concept, like I said in the beginning of this video, to see, you know. And I truly think that, I don't know why, but back when I was 10, I thought, oh, there was two Undertakers at one point.
Yeah, really.
But obviously, you know what happened.
Yeah. And you know, the thing that really made it interesting is, yeah, Undertaker had the match with Yokozuna, a casket match. He ends up losing. And then, you know, they show him up on the screen in the casket. And he gives this whole speech, and then from behind the screen, you see him rising up. And then, you know, oh, I saw The Undertaker here, and I saw The Undertaker here, and blah, 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 blah. And then, you know, you got $1 Million Man saying, I found The Undertaker, I got him, he's with me again. And, you know, have this imposter Undertaker, and then the Heartbreak Hotel. Paul Bear's like, no, I found the real Undertaker, I know where he is, and he'll be at SummerSlam. And then, you know, you're watching SummerSlam, and all the things that are happening prior to the match, like all the backstage stuff with Leslie Nielsen and Leslie Nielsen on his own at first, and then with the other guy, is friggin' funny.
Yeah, here's another comedy gem that I wish was still here, but obviously, you know, there it is. I mean, these guys really made this show, and I remember the vignettes with him at the pool, and
Yes.
you know, just that was when I was starting to not become a regular fan and just an occasional fan, but this was at the time where it was starting to change in a way that Undertaker's looks are going to change now. And let's say Bret Hart's music is going to change a bit.
Yeah.
We're shifting into a new territory.
Right.
And, like, I don't know, I can't think of any other words, but it was a different time.
Yeah, for sure.
It wasn't something I was used to, anyways.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, Tatanka as a heel was kind of, like, bullshit to me.
Yeah.
So, I don't know, but again, this was a good SummerSlam.
Yeah. Like, there were a lot of people that were in the $1 Million Corporation that were really good heels. You know, $1 Million Man himself, IRS, Bam Bam Bigelow, Kama the Supreme Fighting Machine.
Yeah, Nikolai Volkov.
Nikolai Volkov, yeah. Right, several others, but
Yeah.
it just, Tatanka didn't seem to fit.
No.
I don't know if it was one of those things where he was so comfortable as a face that when he got turned heel, he just wasn't comfortable with it. He didn't know what to do as a heel, or what.
I look at it as The Miz. Like Mike Mizanin as a face for the first time. And I didn't believe him. Like, he didn't look like a genuine face. Now, when he had his feud with Shane McMahon, that I can believe.
Yeah, that was believable.
So, with Tatanka, I don't know. I just couldn't see it. You know, because you have the Native American as the so-called, like, underdog, and then now he's a heel going against what you think is good, or whatever. I don't know.
Yeah.
It kind of doesn't make sense to me.
Yeah.
Now, if Chief Jay Strongbow, although he wasn't really a Native American, if he was a heel, I don't know how that would have worked.
Yeah. Or even, you know, a Wahoo McDaniel.
Yeah. Yeah. So, I'm not sure.
Yeah.
But I think that it again, too bad Tatanka never really had that chance to be a singles champion.
Yeah.
You know, it just sucks. But, anyways, this has been SummerSlam 90.
Four.
So, next week's obviously going to be SummerSlam. I'm hoping to have something a little bit different for that video, but we'll see.
Yeah.
And yeah, so it was fun doing these,
Yeah, for sure.
except for the little fuck up I did, but whatever. But yes, for me and Matt, this is Killer Kyle, and we will talk to you next time. Deuces.
Bye, guys.